All right, so a new season of Big Brother just started, season 20, and I've watched episode 1. So we got to meet the cast of characters, see a little bit of gameplay, we saw competition, and we saw some strategy from Swaggy C. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of predict how I think the season will play out, and I'll go through my picks and we'll see who I think will win the show. Okay, so typically, when you watch the season, the people who win or the people who go far are people in showmances, people who are very smart, people who are athletic, and people who have good social game. So if you have a big deficiency in one of those areas, I put you in, the bottom tiers. Right off the bat, I can see that there are some people that I don't think are that strategic. Some people's personalities could be offensive. Some people that might not fit in or find their kind of alliances. So starting off, the very last person I think is going to get voted off first, and just to reiterate, I've only seen the first episode, is Sam. I don't think she's that smart, and it doesn't look like she's a comp beast, so I don't know where that leaves her. Next is Rachel. I think Rachel could be a little bit of a tough person to deal with. I think she could have paint a target on her back and create a lot of enemies. Next is Rockstar. She admitted in the opening sequence that she's not very athletic and she didn't do any sort of strength and conditioning or anything like that. She doesn't appear to be somebody who's that social in the sense that she's a little bit has a quirky personality, and I don't know if she's going to find her footing, and she just might be an easy target to get rid of, kind of like a no blood on your hands vote. I think Steve, so in one of the previous seasons, I think Kevin, he's a little bit older and he floated under the radar. He's from Boston. He's got a very similar personality, and people kind of accused him of being, maybe an undercover cop or something like that. This guy actually is an undercover cop. He's a bit older, and I think older people in the past have tended not to form as close bonds with other people. With some exception, of course, but I think Steve might kind of rub people the wrong way. We already kind of saw it with that long-haired, Tyler Crispin guy. He was kind of giving this interrogative, evil eye, and I don't know about you, but I can usually smell a cop a mile away. This guy is, trained a particular way, and unless you're the world's greatest actor, it's not like you can just turn that off. Granted, he's an undercover cop, so he has practice of pretending to be other people, but I don't know. I think people are going to be suspicious of him, and I don't think he's going to be that athletic to win the competitions, and he's probably not that smart based on what I know of cops, and so I don't think he'll last very long. Next is Tyler. I picked Tyler simply because he doesn't appear that smart, and it's impossible to win this game without intelligence. There's a lot of memorization games and a lot of games with quick wit and puzzles and problem solving and memorization and all that kind of stuff. This guy is never going to win. He's athletic, and I think that will carry him far, and I think he's got a good social game, and that should carry him far. But he's somebody that you can get rid of, and it'll be very bloodless, and I think some HOHs will pick him to get rid of him. Next is Swaggy C. Now, he's a comp beast. He won 2 competitions. They're very athletic, but he's very cocky, and I don't think that's a good gameplay move. He also had the opportunity to, have a bloodless HOH where he could have just picked, okay, I'm just going to draw names out of a hat, or I'm just going to pick, the group that I was riding with. But he actually gave his word he's going to save somebody, and then went against that, and you can't do that, especially this early on. And I think he's going to rub people the wrong way. He's also going to be perceived as a threat. He does have intelligence as well as athleticism, and I think somebody will look to get rid of him. Okay, next is Bailey Dayton. So in her pre-interview, we saw that she was kind of a dick to, she said she was a bitch, and she was kind of proud of it, to her customer service job as a flight attendant. So I feel like she's going to be a very outspoken kind of character guest on the show, and so I don't think she'll form an alliance with a lot of strong players. She'll also probably not get into a showmance, and they'll look to kind of ostracize her and get her out of there. Okay, so next is Kaitlyn. So Kaitlyn is the life coach, and I'm picking Kaitlyn to go early simply because I think she's got a bit of a quirky personality and might have a hard time fitting in. She doesn't seem to be that smart, doesn't seem to be that athletic, and nothing's really impressing me about her. Next is Scotty Sultan. So I like Scotty, and I think he could win the show based on his athleticism and based on his kind of strategic problem solving. He comes from like a gamer world. Seems like he might be a smart guy. But I do question his social game. A guy who's never been in a relationship, doesn't know the kind of nuances of how to read women, potentially. Granted, let's be fair, I'm basing this off one episode and they got a couple minutes of screen time, so this is all very premature. So I'm just going on my hunches, and I think he's not going to form a showmance. That seems unlikely, and he doesn't seem like he's going to get down with the bros. I think the bros are going to form an alliance, and he's not going to be a bro. I think the quirky people are going to form an alliance, but I think the quirky people are going to get picked off simply because they're not going to be able to win comps as easily, because it's going to be a lot of athletic endurance comps. Okay, so next on my list is Casey Clark. If you remember, she is a pro football player. I think she seems like she could be smart, could have a really great social game, and is athletic. I think she's going to form an alliance with the short dude. I can't remember his name, like Jacey. That's just my hunch. I have no reason to assume that. Oh, actually, I do have a reason. They're both part of the LGBTQW whatever group. So I think she'll probably carry him and he'll carry her, and I think they can go pretty far. So I like her. So she's one to watch. Next is Faisal. So here's a guy who's big and athletic. He's a substitute teacher, so he's probably got a university degree. He's a very smart guy. I think he's going to form either a showmance or an alliance with the bros, and they'll go very far. The reason I picked him is simply because his size. I think some of the endurance competitions rely on balance and, holding yourself up, like grip strength and that kind of stuff. And those big guys tend not to do well in those competitions. And for that, I picked him to be the first one out of the bro alliance. Okay, so next is Angela Rumens, and she's a fitness model. I like her. I think she could do well. I think she's probably got a pretty good social game. Fitness model. She's obviously athletic. I don't know how intelligent she is. She might form a showmance, which could take her far, but also could put a target on her back. So yeah, anyway, I pick her to go out next. After that is Winston Hines, the medical sales rep. This guy's going to coast a long way simply because of his kind of southern charm. The girls will be swooning after him. He might form a showmance. The dudes will like him because he's a bro. They'll lift weights together. He's got a kind of easygoing, friendly personality. He's a sales rep, so people in sales are pretty good with their words and figure out what's pushing people's kind of psychological buttons. I think he'll go far. He might even win it, but I picked another person to win it. So next is Jacey. I think he's going to do very well. He'll probably not be perceived as a threat due to his size. And I think he's going to form some strategic alliances, which will take him very far. I don't know how intelligent he is, but I have no reason to think he's not intelligent. So I think he'll kind of float under the radar, and then he'll eventually start winning some comps. I think he'll do really well. I think he's top 5. Next is Haley, and I picked Haley because if I remember correctly, she was studying psychology in college. She appeared to be athletic and appeared to be very normal, very inoffensive, and she reminds me of I can't remember the blonde lady who won a couple seasons ago. Somebody who just kind of floats under the radar. You don't suspect her. She's not going to win comps for a while. She's going to form alliances and be making moves behind the scenes and be kind of everybody's friend. Might even form a showmance, and therefore could be taken very far. I think final 2. And the reason why she's not, in my opinion, she's not going to win is because of this dude, Brett Robinson. I feel like he's going to win. He's a bit of a bro. But I think the bros are going to form an alliance. They'll take him very far. He's a cybersecurity engineer, so he's very smart. They don't know that he's smart, so I think they're not going to perceive him as a threat. But I think he's going to be very strategic and play the game well. He's probably going to form a showmance, which could, protect him in some ways. The reason I pick him number 1 is because final 2 between him and Haley, I feel like he will have done more, win more comps, win more power vetoes, make more kind of strategy moves, and that will convince the house that he deserves the money versus Haley. So yeah, I don't know. There it is. Those are my picks based on very little information. That's kind of what makes this fun. Just going based on my hunches, gut feelings, my own kind of strategy. So we'll see how this plays out. Let me know in the comments your picks. Let me know if I've made any errors in judgment or if you disagree with me. And yeah, we'll watch the season together. All right, thanks.